The business side I already had, so I took what I knew in business and applied it here with mobile homes. And for me, this has been very exciting. It's been fun. It's been challenging, working out different scenarios. Or if a person can't get approved this way, we try to find them and get them approval somewhere else.
All right, guys, this is Kelly from Hills, Deals, and Wheels Mobile Home Investing Course. And today we have a special guest. We have Mr. Stuart Smith. Stuart, how are you doing today?
Oh, awesome, Kelly. Happy to be here with you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing
Oh,
pretty good.
all right, you're looking great.
Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, I actually reached out to Stuart like a week ago, and we were talking about renting and wholesaling.
Yeah,
I said, you know what, Stuart, I need to get you on this show so
yeah.
we can share our ideas in mobile home investing. But first of all, Stuart, introduce yourself and tell everybody how you got, into the mobile home business.
Sure, sure. I'm Stuart Smith. I am in Phoenix, Arizona, originally from New Jersey. In 20, let's see, I guess 2019, I purchased from J and Samara Harvey their program. But finally, the fifth month, and I believed in the concept, I believed in the program, and I believed that if I didn't give up and I just stuck with it, that I would one day have success, just not in 2 weeks, just not in 30 days. And I think a lot of times people look for that get rich quick. They want to make money like it's in a microwave immediately. And a lot of times they just give up if it doesn't happen in 30 days or if it doesn't happen in 2 months. And I know people like that who have given up after 2 months with no success. And I think I have a business background. I owned a commercial janitorial business for about 30 years. I had 85 employees. We worked valley-wide, did some major projects, some projects as large as 1.5 million square feet. At the same time, I also had a vending company with vending machines, sodas, snack, coffee, water, things like that. So the business side I already had, so I took what I knew in business and applied it here with mobile homes. And for me, this has been very exciting. It's been fun. It's been challenging, working out different scenarios. Or if a person can't get approved this way, we try to find them and get them approval somewhere else. So it's been really a great ride. And my strategy was to start out as a wholesaler, which I did. Then my next strategy is to fix and flip. And the reason I wanted to connect with you was to buy and hold. And then eventually, I want to get together a consortium of investors and purchase a mobile home park. For me, it's all about that passive income, that residual income that you get each month, whether you lift a finger or not. You want to make sure that's coming in. So that's, excuse me, that's been my strategy, and I've worked on it and been fortunate to have some good people with deep pockets that want to go in with me. So, and relationships are very key. Relationships are important, and staying connected with people, getting out in the public, business mixers, um, speaking engagements, motivational things. It's important just to connect with people and have as many resources as you can.
So, Stuart, would it be fair to say that you had like analysis paralysis while you it took you a little longer or what?
Well, I was married at the time, and I actually purchased it for my wife
Okay.
at the time, and she just never looked at it, never did anything with it. So I said, look, I invested in this thing. It's been here for like a year. Nothing has happened. Let me look at it and see what I can figure out with it. So uh, as soon as I looked at it, it was September of 2020. I just jumped right in. I got out there, had no clue what the heck I was doing. And I would have some trepidation when I drive into a mobile home park, thinking that I was going to get run out of a park. That's the driving for dollars technique. And you're looking and you want to see somebody that says for sale, by owner, call the number, tell them who you are, and you want to help them sell their mobile home. Now, I didn't let it deter me, the fact that I did not have a mobile home dealer's license yet. I just had faith in the program and just figured if I stuck to their scripts, I could sell myself. So again, I sold nothing for about until the fifth month, and now I just go gangbusters to making quite a few sales every month, and
Wow.
it's been good. It's been really, really good.
Mhm.
So no analysis paralysis. It's
Okay.
just
It
let's
was
get
just on
it.
the shelf for a little bit.
It was just on the shelf because again, my wife at the time, she wanted to do it, but sometimes when people have no skin in the game, no investment in it, they don't care if they do it or don't do it. It's no loss to them. So I said, it's not going to be a loss to me. I've already invested, so let me see what I invested in. And again, the program was very, very thorough for me.
Right. So Stuart, you mentioned a license. So in the beginning, like right out the gate, you got your license, or you got your license later on down the road?
No, I got my license in what was that? In April of 2021. So I waited about 8 months
Okay.
because I guess here in the Phoenix area, they'll allow you to sell maybe two or three, but once they see you're doing it on a regular and it's not just a hobby, they'll kind of come looking for you. That never happened to me. I just went ahead because I felt that in my presentation to potential sellers as well as buyers, it meant something to say that I'm licensed. So it looked like I invested, I studied, I passed the test versus people who are out there that aren't licensed and just winging it.
Right.
And some of those, I know some of those that are out there just winging it, and the level of professionalism is low. It's very low. So it meant a lot to me to have that license.
Right. And so Stuart, I'm licensed in the state of Texas. So tell me, and people don't believe me when I say it was open book. When I got my license, it was before the pandemic, the COVID,
Yeah.
and it was open book. It was 3 days of material, and it was open book. Now, how was the license situation for you guys?
Now
Okay.
wait a minute, Kelly. The test was 3 days, or the
No,
studying, the
the course.
preparation,
Yeah, yeah,
preparation.
yeah. We
Oh,
were
okay,
in class for really 2.5 days, and
okay,
on that third day, we had 4 hours to take a open book test. So
right. Well,
people don't believe me when I say that. Now I know in the state of California that's not the case. It's not open book. But what about out
right.
there in Arizona?
Yeah, it is open book. They give you like 60 days to take the test.
Hmm.
You can go to this website and download all the study material, and you just go at your own pace. Just know that that clock is ticking, and you need to get that test completed before that 60 days is up. And they give you like three chances to pass. So I was fortunate I passed the first time. It felt like a major accomplishment. And I
Right.
felt like I was legit at that point. So I just got out there and keep going, keep going.
Yeah. So let's just get a little clarification. So for wholesaling, you don't need a license to wholesale, right? You could have just kept
Yeah,
wholesale.
I could have done that. But for me, I mean, there's people that, like I said, that are out there doing it. They got signs and stuff, but they're not licensed. And I just wanted to be by the book, make sure that, I knew because once when you know better, you'll do better.
Right.
And you got no excuse at that point. So each month I have to file reports with the Arizona Department of Housing, letting them know how many sales of new homes, how many sale of used homes, sales over 50,000, under 50,000. And I had to also get what you call a trust account at a bank here.
Mhm.
So anything under 50,000, I could hold the money, distribute the funds, pay the park, pay off taxes or whatever. But that's too much. I don't want to deal with that. I always go to an escrow company and let them deal with that. All the funding goes to them, and then when it's time to distribute funds, they know who to send the money to.
Mhm.
So it just makes it a lot easier on me because I don't want to time is one of the most precious resources next to life that we have is time. Like you were teasing me before we got started. You said, you're early. I always live by, if you can't be on time, be early, Black people. If you can't be on time, be early.
Exactly.
There's that saying, better late than never. Better late. No,
Exactly.
I don't live. No, no. And we already are stereotyped as always being late. So my thing is, if you can't be on time, be early.
Okay. So, Stuart, do you notice like before you got your license and now that you have your license, the conversation that you have with the park manager is any different? Or do you tell them that you're licensed or you give them a card or how does
Oh
it
yeah,
work?
yeah. It's very different because I come in with not an arrogance but a confidence.
Right.
And I remember early on, if I was selling a home and still not licensed, somebody would come a buyer and they got a real estate agent. Those real estate agents could like almost intimidate you with their knowledge of real estate. Real estate is different from mobile homes. But once I got licensed, you're gonna have me cuss on. I ain't gonna cuss. But I wish they would try to say something to me.
Right.
Now I handle all real estate agents. I
Right.
handle all real estate agents. And sometimes they want to take over the deal. Like, well, let's use my offer to purchase. No, we're going to use my offer to purchase form. I don't care about your offer to purchase form. I'm running this show here. So there was a time I would have probably said, oh, okay, we could use yours. But having that license, having that knowledge, it's really the knowledge that's the key that makes all the difference in the world when you go and talk to park managers, when you go and talk to potential sellers, and they feel more confident. And in my presentation, when I sit down with them, I have a notebook with all the different forms I use. And I also have a copy of my license so they can see. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference, and people feel very, very comfortable.
Right. Now, dealing with realtors, realtors aren't allowed to buy and sell but X amount of mobile homes themselves without having also a license in mobile homes, right? They don't
Well,
they can't, just because they're a realtor, they can't just switch over into mobile home investing.
right. But I know a few real estate agents who have done that. And I talked to the lady who's over the Arizona Department of Housing and asked her about it. And
Mm,
she said, we don't govern real estate agents. You need to go to the Department of Real Estate and find out what their stance or what their position is on real estate agents selling mobile homes. So, but as far as the Department of Housing, which governs my license, they don't they don't care one way or the other.
right. Yeah, because I
Is
have
that how it is?
I'm
Is
sorry.
that how it is in Texas? That
No, I have dealt with several realtors in Texas
uh-huh.
and California, and they said, "Oh, Kelly, we're gonna put it under your name because they're only allowed to do like one, especially in the state of Texas. They're only allowed to do like one without
Wow.
having a license." Yeah, so
Wow.
really, when I tell my students, try to work with a realtor, it's best because especially if you're licensed, they're gonna need you.
They're going to need you, right?
You're
And
gonna
then how do you split the commission at that point?
Well, 9 times out of 10, the realtor, and I've only dealt with a couple, they find me. They ask
Okay.
me, hey, can you help me? Because they know either they've already done one deal that year, and they know
Right.
I'm licensed, and then, I'm the one really doing none of the work, really. Just using
Okay.
my license to help them out.
So when it comes to you getting paid,
Uh-huh.
you work out a deal with the real estate agent, how you
Yeah,
guys are split?
yeah, yeah. And when I tell you, Stuart, I do absolutely nothing. I do nothing because they really just want to use my license because they're not licensed to do what
Mm.
I do. That's what
Oh,
they're
okay.
doing. So I'm getting paid for nothing. I've gotten paid thousands of dollars for doing nothing just
Um,
by using my license.
s- so do they work that deal like in real estate where it's a percentage of the sale is your commission or
Yes.
you have a flat fee?
It would depend on the realtor. It would depend on the realtor.
Okay.
But really, it's just a phone call. Hey, Kelly, can you help me? I've already done one mobile home this year. I can't do another one. I'm
Right.
not interested in getting my license. Can you help me? And I have literally got thousands of dollars just for helping them because they're not interested in mobile home investing or getting their license. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll shy away from real estate agents when they come. Let's say I already have a listing and they bring a buyer and they say, I'm a real estate agent. And I tell them, well, I don't share commission. I just tell them that up front.
Mhm.
Because if you do a percentage, let's say a mobile home costs 50,000,
Mhm.
you're talking $3,000. Whereas in the real estate game, 6% on 400,000, you're talking $24,000. So it's a big, big difference between what we get in mobile homes and what we get in real estate. So I typically let the real estate agent know that up front, and most times they're okay with it. They say, okay. But I haven't had any issues with people feeling like, well, forget you then. I'm not going to bring my buyer by. That's fine. I mean, I have a Facebook group page, and that page is approaching about 8,000 people. And I get people from, like, when was it? This morning, somebody joined my page from Cuba and Canada, Hawaii, California, Washington, Minnesota, from all over the country that want to join my group because they're looking to purchase homes here in the Arizona Valley. And then I also get people who are looking to sell mobile homes. Like, people will come on my group page and say, Stuart, I've had my home on the market for a while. It hasn't sold. Can you help me? So I'll give them my number. And that group page is kind of like a family. I try to connect with people. I welcome each week and send out a welcome post to everybody that's joined. I'll send out something tomorrow for Thanksgiving to everybody in the group. So we just try to connect and be like a little family. And I also try to help people in advance get ready. Don't show up, because I have people, and the valley here is huge. I mean, you could go from one end to the other, and it's 50, 60 miles. And I've been on trips where to show somebody a mobile home, and I drive and don't confirm they're coming, and get there and they don't show up. So I just went 50 miles and they didn't show up. Or if they do show up, they say, well, I don't have cash. I need to finance it. I said, have you been approved for financing? They're like, no, I haven't been approved. Where would I get financing? So you live and learn. Experience is it? I don't think experience is the best teacher. It's a good teacher, but if you can learn from somebody else, that's even a better way of learning. So now that I qualify people, it's key to qualify people over the phone before you drive some far distance. Okay, are you a cash buyer or do you need financing? No, I need financing. Have you been approved for financing yet? No, I haven't. Let me send you a link where you can get financing. Once you get approved, that way we'll know what your price point is. Because if you get approved for 50,000, we don't need to be looking at something that's 80,000. That's not going to work. So that's sometimes people kind of push back. Well, why can't I just see it? Because you'll be wasting my time if you don't get it. Time is money. You're not going to waste my time. Get out of here with that nonsense. So, you got to protect, and you got to have boundaries too. You just can't let people kind of run over you just because it's something they want. They got to be prepared. And I oftentimes post messages and tell people, hey, if not you, who? If not now, when? It's time. If you want a mobile home, know what your credit score is. If it's low, I can get you to somebody that can help you get it up. If you don't have financing, I can direct you to somebody with financing. And then from there, it's just a simple process that if you come ready, and I tell people, look, stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Just be ready. Just be ready when you come talk to me. And in a lot of cases, people aren't ready, but I can give them the information to help them possibly get where they want to be in the near future.
So, Stuart, what is the importance of creating this Facebook group?
Well, the importance is, number one, people know who you are. And a lot of times people come on and join, and then they know friends or relatives that are looking for mobile homes. So they'll invite their friends, relatives to join the group. And again, I'm trying to give people information, be ready, just be ready. So you may not be ready. You think you're ready now in terms of your desire to have a mobile home, but financially you're not ready. Your credit score is whack. So I try to help people, educate people as best I can. I see you laughing, but I try to help people, as best I can and educate people. I'm getting ready to post an article about purchasing mobile homes and the difference between the pre-HUD mobile homes in June 15, 1976, and the post-HUD, or the era we're in now with the HUD homes, which a lot of people don't know the difference. I'll get people saying, hey, can this home be moved? I want to buy it. Well, the home is a 1973. You can't move it. It's
Right.
1970. You can't, and people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just about educating people. And I'm always thirsty, hungry to learn more. I don't feel uh, the guru, although I've been called the guru by um, park owners, because I have park owners, not park managers, but park owners that are part of my Facebook group page. And hey, Stuart, I see you're doing a lot with mobile homes. Can you sell mobile homes for me in my park? I've had mobile home park managers call me, and it surprised me one time because this lady, I didn't know she was a park manager, but she had a home that needed to be sold, and she wanted like 125,000. I think I sold the home in probably 2 weeks. She's so grateful and thankful. Then I found out after the fact that she was the park manager. So I said, look, if you ever get some homes that need to be sold in this park that I can purchase and fix up, please, wherever that list is, please get my name on the list. I
Okay.
don't just want to be on the list. I want to be at the top of that list since I just sold a home for you. And I want to be the only name on that list so that I'm the guy that you call. And she said, oh, Stuart, I wish I would have known. I just sold 2 homes in this park for $500 a piece. I was like, what?
Oh.
$500 a piece? She said, yeah, I probably needed about $5,000 worth of fix up. Probably could have sold for maybe 60,000. I said, you're killing me right now. You're killing
Wow.
me.
Wow.
So,
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
relationships are important.
Right. So, Stuart, when you're qualifying these people who are trying to get a loan, are you, of course, you're going through a mortgage loan originator, correct?
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people don't even know what a mortgage loan originator is. I talked to a couple of investors and they're like oblivious to, what a mortgage loan originator is, because a lot of times they're creating their own notes without a mortgage loan originator,
Mm,
and, seller financing.
right.
And
Right.
so, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't, it's your show. Go ahead.
So what credit score are they looking for?
In most cases, around 600, somewhere in there. But these are companies that I use, such as Vanderbilt Mortgage, 21st Mortgage. There's a company here locally called Teamwork. Um, and there's another one, but primarily I'm going to use Vanderbilt for 21st Mortgage. And I have a relationship with those companies. And at Vanderbilt, they'll call me and say, hey, Stuart, we got a home that's getting ready to get foreclosed on. Are you interested in it? So again, relationships, wherever you can get relationships, working relationships and connected to people so that they know your name. And I found that as best you can, always remember a person's name. People love to hear their name. And sometimes in my phone, I cheat. I'll put the person's name and I'll also put like their wife's name. So when I talk to the guy, yeah, and how's Laura doing? And he thinks I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. He don't know I got her name in the book. I didn't remember her name, but it's right here,
Right.
on the phone. So people just love to hear their name. And it's important. I can't stress enough. It's important to be a person that connects, a person that uh, is relatable, a person that just has a way to connect with people and build relationships, because relationships are so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, Stuart, we talked last week and we were talking about wholesaling versus renting. And your strategy has been wholesaling and fixing and flipping. And I pretty much was saying, like, especially with the wholesaling thing, well, both of them, it's sort of
Right.
kind of like a job.
Oh
And,
yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
and you agreed
yeah.
with me. I'm so glad you
Oh,
agreed with me. Because
oh,
a lot of people think,
absolutely.
"Oh, I'm just going to be a wholesaler." Okay, you got to quit your job to be a wholesaler.
To be a
That's another
wholesaler.
job. That's another
Yeah,
job.
that's another job. And the thing about it with just wholesaling, I feel like Rick Ross. Every day I'm hustling.
Right.
Every day I'm out there hustling because with commission, if I don't sell this month, then I don't eat. So every day I'm hustling. And that's why I got to get to a place like where you're at, where you're renting units. So I have that passive income every month and can just kind of sit back. And if I decide to take a week off, I'm good because I'm covered with my financial obligations. So that's why I needed to connect with you, my friend. That's
And
why
I
I needed
appreciate you.
to.
I appreciate you reaching out because a lot of people are like, so into seller financing, and I'm like, okay, you have almost a brand new mobile home, and you're going to seller finance it out for it to be paid for in a couple of years.
Right.
And those payments are gone.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that to me, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
That is the way to, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
That makes so much more
And
sense.
you know what people even say, Stuart? Oh, well, I'm hoping to get the mobile home back. I'm hoping the person I sell a finance to stop making payments and then I'll get the home back. Okay, then you get the home back, and guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have
Yeah.
to rehab it to try to sell it to
Right.
somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what kind of strategy that is. I hope you fail. Basically, I hope you fail. Then I'll come and kick you to the street. You, your wife, and your kids. You'll be homeless. But that's
Exactly.
the strategy I'm going with. So
Exactly.
no, that doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Exactly. So, Stuart, how do y'all close deals out there in Arizona? What paperwork? Let's talk about wholesaling. How do you go about closing deals out there?
Well, typically the first thing is working with a seller. I'm going to use a listing agreement for them to give me permission to market their home, take pictures, and then I'm going to spell out in there what they're going to make out of the deal and what I'm going to make out of the deal. And I usually go with a flat fee. So if they come down on the price, my fee is still the same. If they go up on the price, which never really happens, my fee is just the same. And once we have a buyer, we'll do an offer to purchase. Then we'll present that to the escrow company. And if the person has cash, they go directly to the escrow company. If they're getting financing, the escrow company and the lender, they talk and get everything situated as far as when funds are released and everything. And the escrow company checks to make sure that their park rent is paid. They also make sure that there's no taxes. They also make sure that there's no lien against the property, like from a lender. After that, you do something called, there's a what there's an agency form which lets the buyer and the seller know that I'm representing both of them. And my role is strictly to make sure that they have and get all the proper forms as far as the state is concerned, that those forms are all filled out. And the other form is the buyer's acceptance form, which once the sale goes through, the buyer sees it, checks off, yes, I agree. Then the state requires something called if it's a used mobile home, there's a form that you have to have the buyer sign, and then that also goes to the state as well. So there's five, about five different forms after the sale, and probably all told from the listing agreement till the end, about seven forms that are used.
Okay. And with wholesaling, do you ever allow the seller and the buyer to meet, or does it make a difference?
Um, a lot of times I try to have the seller out of the house when
Mm.
I bring um, the buyer through. And I don't know if I can say this, the PG, but sometimes I'm just being real here.
Give me
Sometimes when my seller is African American
that.
and you bring somebody Caucasian through, that that just sometimes doesn't work. So I always like to have the seller, whether they're African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, out of the home so that the buyer can have kind of feel free and not encumbered as they look through the home. Of course, I'm there with them, making sure that they don't take anything.
Right.
Um, so it all depends. Sometimes they meet, sometimes the seller can't leave, so they do meet the buyer, and then sometimes they don't. It just depends.
Okay.
Um, so either way, I'm comfortable either way.
Okay.
And sometimes though, when the seller is there,
Uh-huh.
they'll try to oversell the home or they'll undersell it. Well, I got this over here that's wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. And all I can see the dollars is just like, and I look at them and say, I'm like, get out, get out, go to the bathroom or something. You're messing
Exactly.
this up. but in all transparency, when people, let's say the buyer asks me, well, Stuart, how's the plumbing, the AC? I say, look, what you need to do is get a home inspection, which will cost you about $375. They'll come out, they're going to check your flooring, your subflooring, your electrical, they're going to check your plumbing, your roofing, they're going to check for termites, they're going to check your AC, your appliances. I say, I can't tell you because all I know is what the seller has told me. So to have yourself some peace of mind, just pay the 350, 375 and get an inspection done. Then the other thing I recommend to buyers is that they get a home warranty. So your AC is covered, your appliances are covered. And then on top of that, you need to get a homeowner's policy, which covers if there's any damage done to the home. A lot of times people don't, and then when something happens to their home, they're like stuck because whoever their agent was or dealer didn't let them know that you should do that. So I just want to make sure that the transaction between the buyer, the seller, and myself, it's a, a win-win-win for everybody. It's a three-win situation. So I want the seller to be informed. I want the buyer to be informed. I had a situation where a buyer purchased a home last year around this time, and summer hit. In July, things were heating up, and the AC didn't work. The AC just was shot. And they had somebody come out, and the person that came out to look at it said, oh, yeah, this is bad. This is rusted here. The seller told me they had it serviced before we sold it, and everything was fine. But that's what the seller told me. And then, 8 months later, at the hottest time of the year in Arizona, it crapped out. And so then the buyer's looking at me crazy. I'm like, that's why I said you need to get a home inspection.
Right.
All I know is what the seller says. I don't know that if it's true or if it's not. So to cover yourself, just pay that money. It'll be well worth it. And sometimes the buyer can use that as a bargaining tool. Well, hey, your AC needs to be replaced, and it's going to cost X amount of $1,000. Can we reduce the price by that? And
Right.
so, yeah.
So, Stuart, you talked about marketing. So you prefer to exclusively market the property because you don't want the seller to still be marketing and you're marketing, and both of your prices are different because you need to make money on the wholesale end.
Right.
So you make sure that it's exclusive. You exclusively market.
Right. I started out when I didn't know better. I started doing non-exclusive. And then when I was getting cut out the deal, I said, wait a minute, this isn't working. This doesn't make any sense to be non-exclusive. So everything I do now is exclusive. The seller can't sell or post their home. It's only up to me because it causes confusion when the seller has one price out there in the internet and you have another price and the seller's trying to get more. And I actually had that happen early on, a couple of instances. And from then on, I just learned. And oh man, I had a guy where I went to this home and the daughter who was out of state wanted me to market the home. I went, met with the mom, took pictures and stuff. And so I'm thinking it's a done deal. I listed it in Marketplace, and about a week or so later, a guy that I know calls me and says, "Hey, yeah, I know you're listing that home. I need you to take that down because I'm listing it." And at that time, I didn't have a listing agreement. Period.
Wow.
It was early on. I didn't have a listing agreement, so I just stopped marketing that. And I think one more time, this guy, he must follow me around. But I had another home, and I was selling it, and came up. I didn't hear from the seller. And next thing I know, this guy's got it listed. Again, I didn't have a listing agreement. So I thanked that guy. I said, man, it was a hard lesson, but you taught me a lesson. I'll never market a home without an exclusive listing agreement going forward. And ever since that, I've always exclusive. Right. And it spells out that the seller cannot market them.
Well, Stuart, let me tell you what happened to me. We were selling a mobile home, my brother and I, and this lady had all intentions of buying it. So you know what she did? She stole our entire advertisement off of Facebook Marketplace. She
What?
advertised it as hers, and
What?
he was trying to sell it. So I called her out. She had her phone number listed on there, and I'm like, girlfriend, if you don't take my home off of there,
Oh,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
I have all intentions of buying it. And I'm like, I have all intentions of winning the lottery, but until
Yeah,
that happens, you need to take
yeah.
my mobile home off of there because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really, really bad business. I mean, it's
Right,
one thing to make a ghost ad, but to
right.
completely take somebody's
Yeah,
home.
yeah, somebody else. At that point, I could see you with the earrings coming off,
Exactly. It's yeah,
little
exactly. If you don't
Vaseline.
take it, yeah, if you don't take my home off of there, and then it's conflicting because people are thinking now I'm a scammer.
Right,
They
right,
see she's
right.
selling it and I'm selling it, and
Sure.
we bought the home. This was no wholesale deal.
Right.
So
Wow.
I was getting hot. I was getting hot.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah. So those exclusive agreements, that's a must. That's a must.
Yeah. I mean, there are people out there that are really shady, but that's about the shadiest I've ever heard
Yeah,
for
very
somebody doing something like that.
very
Wow.
shady. So,
Wow.
Stuart, if you don't mind sharing, what is the biggest return on your investment that you've had in the wholesale?
Um, I'm still working on that. Well, the biggest uh without saying the number exactly, it's been five figures, high five
Say that
figures.
one more time.
Without exaggerating, it's been like five figures.
Oh,
So um um and I'm trying to be discreet just in case
the
this gets out.
IRS gets
And
the
no, and just it comes up as a spousal support or something. He
okay,
said he
gotcha.
made it,
Okay, okay, we'll
but
get that
but
along.
it's been well. But I look to even do more once I do start fixing and flipping.
Okay.
And here's why. I have a friend of mine shared a strategy with me, and he said he was like 58, 59 years old, and he looked up and saw that if something happened to him, his wife would be penniless and homeless. So he said he prayed and asked God for a strategy. And the strategy he came up with was to write down five millionaires that he knows, write down the names of five millionaires, approach them about fronting him the money to buy a home, fix it up, and sell it, and then they would split the profits. The first person he went to, that didn't work, but they told him, look, if you go to anybody else, you need to include this, and say this. The second person he went to, they said yes, but they wanted the lion's share of the profit. So he turned that down. The third person he went to, um, it did work, and even a fourth person. So he started out just fixing and flipping homes. Then he moved to the point where he could have rental properties. And I think he got up to like 10 or so rental properties. And he just recently left Arizona, moved to Nashville, Tennessee area, purchased 11 acres, paid cash, paid cash for his home to be built because, I mean, he with that strategy. So I said, man, I went to lunch with him one day. So remember that strategy you shared with me? I said, I need you to help me with that strategy. I need you to be the money man. And I had written down, and it was amazing to me when I started thinking about my different friends who were millionaires. There's like 25 names came up.
Wow.
So I'm approaching all those guys, and so far I've approached three, and they all said yes. If you find something, I'll buy it. I'll put the money in to fix it, and then we just share in the profits.
Wow.
And I know I talked to one gentleman, and he was like, "What I'm wondering is what took you so long to ask me?" And he said, let's not just do one at a time. Can we do two at a time? He said, you find it. And that brother just moved to Oklahoma, purchased a 169-acre ranch. It cost $963,000 because an acre back there, I think was like 3,000, something like that. And he took out his checkbook and wrote a check and gave it to him. I said, wait a minute. You wrote a check for 900. I said, come here, man. I need to talk to you. But and he's from Texas. He has he buys land all over the country. He just purchased about 50 acres in in Alabama. He said, I'm looking for water rights. And he's, I think, purchasing another 100 acres in Texas. And he was just here. And we had a deal all locked up, but at the last minute, the seller moved out. I said, man, I was really counting on that. I was really counting on that, Mr. Seller. But there'll be other deals. There'll be other
His
deals.
his name is not LA by chance, is it? I met a gentleman. He's a good
No,
guy. Okay.
no, it's not. It's not. Or at least he didn't. No, he doesn't go by that.
Oh,
But you know what was amazing that you were in the military with a college friend of mine, Daryl Smith.
Dr. Daryl Smith, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw him last year at homecoming at Tennessee State. I hadn't seen that brother in like 40 plus years, but it was
Yeah.
really good to see him. He's doing well. And I reached out to him, I asked him, he said, yeah, she's a great woman. I said, well, I'm going to be talking to her. So,
Yeah, Daryl, he's a good guy. I haven't seen him in years, but he's a good guy.
yeah, he is.
Small world, small world.
Yeah.
So, Stuart, do you see, because I mean, Stevie Wonder could see that the price of these mobile homes are getting crazy. Do
Right.
you foresee them going back down, after this recession hits, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I've already seen them start to decline here.
Mhm.
And what happened was people who were in mobile homes kind of piggybacked off the real estate market where people from California were moving here. They had excess dollars and they could pay cash for a home because it's a little bit more affordable here than it is in California. But now that is kind of been shut off. And I have one person who was asking 125,000. It's a 4-bedroom mobile home, which I call those a unicorn because you hardly ever see a 4-bedroom.
And we own one too. We own one too.
Yeah, those things are rare. Those
Yeah.
things are
Ooh,
rare.
my mother found that. My mother found
Oh,
that.
she did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're rare. They're rare. And
Very.
this young lady was asking 125,000. Now the year before she purchased it for 55,000. So she was looking at a $70,000 profit in 1 year. And that house is still for sale. It's been for sale now probably about 3 months. So the conversation with her is to say, hey, we need to go down some on this to a realistic price of what the market will bear. Because I'll hear the sellers say, well, around there, their house is listed for 150,000. I said, let me tell you something. What something lists at and what it sells at are two totally different things.
Exactly.
They can list that house for 500,000 if they want.
Right.
All you need to know is what did it sell at,
Right.
and go from there. But so many people. I had one lady. Her home is probably worth 40,000, and she was telling me, and she has like a 1980 something. She's telling me about a new park model that came in. Well, they're selling that for 160,000, and it's a 2-bedroom. Just like, you think I could get 160,000? I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but come back to reality. Come back to reality. If you get 40,000, 45, 50, just take the money and run. Be glad you got that. Yeah. But trying to, there are a lot of unrealistic expectations.
Right. Right. And I tell anybody that now is the time to wholesale, in my opinion, because the prices are crazy. And the park managers that we deal with, we have good relationship with several park managers, and they pretty much say, Kelly, this is the price and we're not going to go down. They was like, somebody will buy it. I said, well, somebody will, but it ain't going to be me. So
right. Yeah.
The most expensive mobile home that we ever purchased was $20,000.
$20,000.
Yeah, and as you know, Stuart, we rent out all our properties. We have 4 that we sell or financed.
Okay.
Before we knew better, but the other ones
right.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you know better.
I know better. I know.
And when you know better, you can do better.
Exactly.
And be better. Exactly. It's all in knowing. It's just all in knowing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad to have met you. And there's going to be a lot that I'm going to learn from you, from your course, and I'm anxious and excited to delve into that.
Well, we excited.
It's going to take me to that next level.
Yeah, definitely. So Stuart, I was going to say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Of course, you want to start renting like my brother and I do.
Sure.
But besides that, you want to, now, what are your thoughts about renting in a park versus,
On
renting
land.
land? Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of people in my Facebook group page that ask, does this include the land? So there's a market out there. Those homes are priced higher because the land is with the home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I would like to get some of those because there's a market. And I have somebody, yesterday that asked me, hey, does this home include the land?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, it's in a park. And so far, all of my deals have been in parks.
Right.
They're in parks.
Yeah,
Which,
same thing with us. But my whole thing is, and I know people who do buy land. Okay, so you buy the land, but you still don't have a mobile home, and
right,
then you got to pay taxes.
right,
You're
right,
not
right.
making a dime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
the way
exactly.
me and my brother do, we have the mobile homes already. We could go and
Okay,
buy the land, and then sometimes these parks say you can't move it for a year or whatever the case may be.
sure.
We're making money where the mobile home is in the park.
Right,
Somebody who just
right,
go
right.
buy the land, you got the land and taxes. No,
Sure,
nothing coming
sure.
in, everything going out.
Everything going out, everything
Yeah,
going out.
yeah. So,
So 5 years, man, I would love to own a park.
okay.
I would love to own a park. And I have a friend who's an attorney, and his wife is a big time real estate person here in Phoenix. And he'll send me stuff when parks are for sale, when mobile homes are about the person about to get evicted,
Mhm.
and I look it over. So far, in terms of parks, he's had some pretty pricey parks, so I couldn't really pull the trigger. I'm going to have to make that team, those millionaires, a little bit wider, guys with the deep pockets to come in and purchase it.
Wow.
So, but yeah, that's where I'd like to be. And you know what? I'm glad you asked me that. It's so important that we have goals, Kelly, and
Hmm.
not only goals, but that we write them down. Like I'm sitting at my desk here in my office, and right in front of me, I have a vision board. Every now and then, I look up at it to see, vacation, a house, family, uh, uh, there's this guy that has the body that I desire. I got to work on that.
You got to work on that. And you know what, Stuart? I believe you have to will stuff to you. You really do.
Yeah, yeah, you
Um,
do.
I joined this group. This guy was in, the credit card business, and we were all on a Zoom. He said, close your eyes and say, hey, I want X amount of dollars to come to me this month by a certain
Right.
date. And,
Hmm.
sat there,
Hmm.
we talked about it and had our eyes closed. And I kid you not, Stuart, within 4 days, I was shy about $2,000 of that goal. I only asked for like $20,000.
Right,
I
right,
got like 18,000 that I wasn't even expecting.
right,
So
right.
you got to will this stuff to you. You got to will.
You-
I'm going to be a mobile home investor. I'm going
right.
to own a park. I'm going to have X amount of dollars. You just can't be sitting around like a bump on
Oh,
the log and think it's
oh
just.
yeah.